Hi Pisces and Pisces rising, this is your January 2017 forecast. So happy 2017, it's definitely said to be a better, more positive, more optimistic year than 2016. Not the least because we're missing the Saturn-Neptune square, not at all. But anyway, so January 2017 kicks off in a very positive, social way for you. That's because the sun is going to be in your 7th house, and this is of course the house of friends, groups, social connections, but it's also the house of hopes, dreams and objectives. So you may find a lot of opportunity for fun interpersonal interactions. You know, dreams and ideals are being furthered by your social connections, by group connections. You may also find professional rewards coming in because this is the 2nd house from the 10th house, which is the house of career and profession. And so assistance from benefactors or friends turn out to be benefactors, and group associations and ties are strengthened. So really work the social scene. This is especially in your interest because Mercury, which is still retrograde until the 8th of January, is in your 11th house. So Mercury, although it goes direct on the 8th of January, stays in your 11th house until the end of the month. So what's on your mind? Your hopes, dreams and objectives. So lots of plans for the future, you know, really considering what you want and what you aspire to, so you're feeling very idealistic. Lots of conversations around these things and lots of conversations with friends and groups. With Mercury retrograde, you may have bumped into some old friends and acquaintances. You may also have been finding out who your real friends are, so weeding the corn from the chaff, and really, like I said, working on those goals for the future and using your social connections to help realize them. Also very, very favorable this month for you is the fact that Mars and Venus are going to be in your 1st house. So Mars in the 1st house really helps you. It's great for activity, confidence, vigor, being self-assertive, very goal-orientated. You know, so you'll really be working to further your interests and you'll be more self-assertive. And you, so with Mars in the 1st one tends to be more ego-driven, so you can step on a few toes. But of course with Venus in your 1st house, this is going to temper that influence beautifully. Venus is going to push you out there as like a team player, someone who's cooperative, someone who can, you know, make compromises to get things done. So even though your goals and objectives are really being furthered by Mars, Venus tempers this and really makes you present very well. So it makes you very attractive to others. Venus in the 1st house, of course, very good for attracting a lot of opportunities to have a good time, and with all that 11th house emphasis, there's definitely going to be lots of parties and more social activity than usual for you. So Venus in the 1st can attract love and romance and opportunities for fun and pleasure to you. So you don't have to make too much of an effort, even though with Mars there, that's really going to provide a little bit more chemistry. So if you are single, this is the month you want to mingle. And so attracting people and opportunities with ease and good circumstances. So don't have to work too hard to bring the good things to you this month. So let's look at what else is happening in terms of aspects. So the new moon on the 29th of December was in your 11th house, and this had the sun and the moon conjuncting Mercury. So this is very good for finding about how you feel about certain things. This new moon is also, you know, that moon that gets associated with New Year's resolutions. So plans for the future, developing plans with Mercury retrograde, going over plans, revisiting things, you know, really discovering what you think and feel about certain things. There's a sextile to Mars with this new moon, and this energy runs for the first 2 weeks of the month, so good for getting things off the ground. And those aspects to Mars help with that physical energy to get things off the ground, help you be more assertive. And the 11th house is that house of groups, friends and connections. So very good for teamwork, very good for group associations and alliances in terms of furthering your objections, goals, dreams and aspirations. So very favorable start to the year for you. So on the 1st of January, we've got Mars conjuncting Neptune in your 1st house. So Mars in the 1st, very focused, driven and ambitious, but Neptune tends to diffuse the energy a little bit. So on the 1st of January, we can find ourselves feeling perhaps a little bit off color. Very often this is the result of inebriation and excess. So you'll really want to avoid, well, from now for the next few days, Neptunian types of activities, more drinking, more dissembling, more dissociation, and so really just avoiding those things that you know aren't good for you, because you won't necessarily be feeling all that well, but this placement does favor selfless service, charitable activities, and philanthropy. So on the 3rd, we've got Mercury still retrograde, sextiling Venus in your first house. So this is very good for leisurely pursuits. It's very good for expressing feelings of love and opening your heart to somebody else. So feelings of love and friendship are very strong, and you're able to communicate your feelings with ease. So very good for love connections, and very good for fun, leisurely activities and pursuits mentally. So, time to relax and enjoy. And if you do want to express your feelings to somebody else that you care about, then this is the aspect to utilize for that. So on the 7th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Pluto in your 11th house. And the Sun and Pluto together can always show some power conflicts. So this could be within friendships or groups. So there's lots of creative and destructive energy when these two planets come together, but it's also very good for repairing and renewing. So perhaps a situation with a friend or a group or something has become a little bit untenable and you want to fix it, so you can use those energies to repair those kinds of interactions where the power dynamics have been a bit off kilter. So on the 10th, we've got the Sun in your 11th house squaring Uranus in your 2nd. And this can show a lot of disruptions and upsets, and for you this could be around expenses or money that you need to spend without things that you didn't anticipate, and those things could also be tied to interactions with friends, so perhaps conflicts and disagreements with friends. So, you'll be wanting to break free from restrictions with this, and the real thing to anticipate is upsets in routine. So things don't go quite as you expected in terms of finances, friendships, and groups at this time. So on the 11th, we've got the Sun squaring your ruling planet Jupiter in your 8th house. So this is very good for an energy boost. So if you've been working on those goals, dreams, and objectives, this will help you get something off the ground, to launch something. Make sure you don't go overboard or overcommit, which is always a danger with Jupiter. But other than that, use this energy and enthusiasm to really get things going in terms of dreams and objectives. You may also find yourself being the recipient of some financial assistance or luck at this time. So the full moon is in your 5th house, which is the house of romance, so new love opportunities, children. It's where we relax and do things that we enjoy. It's also the house of personal business ventures, so creative business ventures favorites. So the full moon brings the focus there. There's the Sun and the Moon are squaring Jupiter, which helps for good feelings and generally feeling uplifted, positive thinking. So this is also very good for entertaining and social opportunities for you, because your social houses are being activated. So maybe it's time to throw a party, or to invite people into your home, or let yourself accept an invitation to a friend's home, or go to a group party or benefit. So on the 19th, Mars squares Saturn from your 1st to your 10th house, and this can show some setbacks or intimidation even in your professional environment, your work situation. So authorities can be a little bit discouraging at this time. You'll want to be very careful and methodical in your work, and just be a little bit patient and try and keep your head down, because this can show obstructions and obstacles coming from older people, authority figures. So this of course can result in angry feelings, Mars, so feeling a bit irritable and disrespected. So just keep your head down and push through, and be very careful in your professional affairs. So on the 20th, the Sun goes into your 12th house, and this is of course that month leading up to your birthday. So with the Sun in the 12th, this is a time of reflection, review, the last period of the month. You're taking some time out to kind of process the year. You can be dreamy and reflective. It's where you consider what you've been committed with and what you want to commit to in future. So it's not the time to start something entirely new, but it's definitely the time to think about it, to think about all your options. So reshuffling the decks for the new solar year, recharging your batteries, taking some time to be alone as well after that busy social period at the beginning of the month, and just gathering your thoughts and gathering your energies, generally speaking. So collecting, consolidating, reviewing, a bit of a holding pattern. On the 20th, we've got Venus in your 1st house sextiling Pluto in your 11th, And these two planets together can always intensify or deepen feelings of love. It makes you more receptive to beauty. So also very good for romantic expression, or for taking a relationship to a new level. So good for creative work and good for romance and good for expressing your feelings or deepening ties towards friends and groups that you're involved with, since the 11th house is indicated. So on the 23rd, Mercury sextiles Neptune from your 11th to your 1st house, and this really stimulates the imagination, and again the house of friendships being triggered, so good for imaginative, philosophical discussions with friends or fun activities with friends, escapist activities with friends. So not really good for rational thoughts or that sort of thing, but very good for relaxing and enjoying pleasant conversations and outings with friends. On the 27th, we've got Venus squaring Saturn from your 1st to your 10th house, and this could be a little bit of a cool, reserved period for you. You may find yourself under professional evaluation, so perhaps your work is being evaluated at this time. This kind of evaluation isn't necessarily pleasant. It can make you feel a bit misunderstood, make you feel a bit underappreciated. So perhaps a period of professional review. So, people are perhaps examining your work in a critical sense. So the new moon is on the 28th and will be in your 12th house. So as I've said, with the sun in the 12th and the new moon in the 12th, this is really a period of reflection and retreat, where you want to have some alone time, where you want to think about, like I said, those things that you're involved with and those commitments that you have, what you want to retain, what you want to let go of. So with the 12th house, it's always good to let go of things that aren't serving you any longer. So consider what you want to retain and consider what habits and patterns and, interactions you want to perhaps get rid of or perhaps withdraw from or retreat from. Take a step back. So on the 29th, Mercury conjuncts Pluto in your 11th house, and this is very good for research and investigation. So if you're developing those goals, objectives, and dreams, then this aspect will help you get to the bottom of things, so there's some problem solving to do. It's good for that kind of mental activity, for really shrewd analysis, penetrating insights. So use this to hone those goals and objectives and really decide what you want to do and where you want to take things. So on the 31st, we've got Mercury squaring Uranus from your 11th to your 2nd house, and this is also very good for mental stimulation, although it can have one feeling a little bit scattered and making impulsive or rash judgments. And for you, again, this could be around spending money, particularly with regards to friends and groups, and you want to be a little bit more careful of accidents at this time. So the month ends with Mars moving into Aries, into your 2nd house. So here Mars is very strong. It's really motivated to generate more income streams for you. Also very motivated perhaps to spend money. But we'll be working very hard to open up new revenue streams for you. If you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe. And thanks so much for listening.